Satipatthana is actually samadhi.
Mm.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, because Satipatthana is, there's a phrase the Buddha used. Satipatthana is a sign of samadhi. And the Bhikkhu Bodhi has translated it as slightly different. I mentioned this in my Satipatthana talk. So Satipatthana, if you practice it, will lead you directly into the jhanas.
How do we practice Satipatthana?
Satipatthana means an intense state of recollection. This word sati, people like to translate as mindfulness, but it is not general mindfulness. It is a specific mindfulness. The mindfulness are directed only to four things: the body, feelings, mind, and Dhamma. Dhamma means Buddha Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings. So, the better word better translation for sati is recollection. Recollection means has to do with remembering. To put your attention on these four things. Because for a normal person, our attention always goes out to the six sense doors and goes to all kinds of rubbish. Thinking east, thinking west. But we should only think of these four things. That's why we need to remember. That's why we call it recollection. So, in the practice of Satipatthana, my personal opinion is that there are two separate types of practice. One is when you sit down, and the other when you are not sitting down. When we sit down, that is the only time that we can attain samadhi, jhana, one-pointedness of mind. So when we sit now, we should try to attain one-pointedness of mind. That means only pay attention to one object. For example, like the breath. Or for some people, a lot of people find the breath meditation difficult. We can even do chanting. For example, arahang, arahang. Actually, the first meditation the Buddha taught was 32 parts of the body. Where you chant head, hair, body, hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinew, bone, marrow, kidney, heart, etc. So, because there is a parable or simile given in the Satipatthana Samyutta, where the Buddha gave this simile to show us how to practice Satipatthana, but I think this concerns this sitting practice. And this simile says that one day the most beautiful girl of the land came out, and all the men saw her and clapped their hands and shouted, "The most beautiful girl of the land." So more people came out and shouted and clapped. And then they asked her to sing and dance, and she started to sing and dance. And more people came to see and to clap their hands. And then an ordinary guy came along, and he was caught by some people and forced to carry a bowl of oil full to the brim. And somebody was walking behind him with a uplifted sword and told him, "You walk among the crowd. If you spill even one drop of oil, I'll chop off your head." So this guy was forced to carry this oil and walk in between all this crowd of people. So the Buddha asked, does he dare to look left and right? No. Does he dare to look at the beautiful girl? No. So he only pays attention to one thing, and that is that bowl of oil. He walks with 100% attention on the bowl of oil. So if he does this, then he will attain Satipatthana, one-pointedness of mind, intense state of recollection. Intense meaning that his attention does not wander anywhere else, even for a split second, and only one object.
That is anapanasati, when we concentrate on the breath, that is the only object.
Right.
Satipatthana says feeling,
Okay. Now we come to the other part.
Contemplation.
Okay. That is the other part. When you are not sitting. For example, you are sweeping the floor, or you are sitting in the bus. Then instead of paying attention to the beautiful girl outside, we should pay attention on these four things. We should think of these four things. Either the nature of the body, or the impermanence of feelings, how feelings arise and pass away, how they arise through conditions. And the Buddha gave a simile of raindrops falling on the pond. As soon as one raindrop touches the pond surface, a bubble forms. Very soon it bursts. Then another drop falls, another bubble. This is a very good simile for our six sense doors are impinged by sights, sounds, smell, taste, etc. So these come and contact us just like the water on the pond. As soon as we see, we hear, etc., a feeling arises, but doesn't last, and then it goes away.
The body, feeling, the mind. What do we contemplate for the mind?
Mind, the sutta says, the condition of the mind, but not necessarily the condition of mind. Whatever we think, for example, if you think whatever thoughts arise, then you can contemplate, why did I think like that? You see, usually our thoughts are motivated by this greed, hatred and delusion. So sometimes somebody says something to you and then you get angry. Then you ask yourself, why am I angry? And I think, it's because of the ego, tak boleh tahan, or because of greed, I think in a certain way. So we recognize these evils, these unwholesome states in us, the ego and all that, then we try to restrain it. So then the Dhamma is the most important, because the Dhamma, contemplation of the Dhamma leads to this attainment of the Aryan stages. Because in the Sutta, the Buddha says there are 5 occasions of enlightenment. Hearing the Dhamma, teaching the Dhamma, repeating the Dhamma, reflecting on the Dhamma, and the last one is during meditation, when you contemplate on the Samadhi Nimitta. So out of these 5 occasions of enlightenment, 4 of them have to do with Dhamma, so important. And I believe, although the Buddha says here that these are the 5 occasions of enlightenment, they are also the 5 occasions of partial enlightenment. It means attaining the first path or first fruit, second path, third path, fourth path. Also what to do with this.
So actually it has nothing to do with the meditation, the more contemplation, thinking, all that. Nothing to do with when you sit down and meditate. So
yeah, because you sit down, you can also contemplate. But if you do that, then your mind will very easily will run. So it's very important to train to get one-pointedness of mind. Otherwise, no, the contemplation is even before you get one-pointedness of mind. You can do the contemplation, but not when you are sitting. Other times, you have plenty of other times. So there are 2 distinct parts to the practice of Satipatthana. One is when you are sitting, and when the other one when you are not sitting. But the problem with most of us is that when we are not sitting, the mind runs a lot. It's out of control. So a good practice is to practice that one-pointedness of mind as much as we can, even when we are not sitting. And how? By chanting Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa, Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa, non-stop. Or just araham, 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 araham. You know, the Hindus, they like to practice this. They call it japa. Sometimes they chant mantra, sometimes they chant just om, 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 non-stop. You can. The point is, whatever we do is just to train our mind, not to run, not be, because if we allow our mind to run, that is asava, uncontrolled mental outflows, and that is the cause of samsara. Keep our mind running, and then as soon as we die, we run again, another birth. Go qua tòa hỷ. But if you see, just be mindful, the mind will run. So it's better. Only for a few sweeps. After that, he will run. So it's better if you chant something